Where's the...
Oh, we haven't done it yet?
We haven't done it yet. No.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that
my
was
goodness.
fun. That was fun. I like that.
Did you enjoy being in the Army?
Oh, I was never in the Army, but
I mean, in that moment
vicariously
you were
through
in the
this.
Army.
Yes, in that moment in the Army. Yes. Vicariously
Now,
in the Army. Yeah.
now, do you know why I picked that particular song?
Well, yes, I do, but I'll let you tell the audience.
Oh no, you tell them. Why did I pick that song?
Oh.
You're my co-host. You tell me.
Well, you shared with me that you think that a certain political figure, former president, just might be going to military prison because that might be the only place that could accommodate such a situation as that and keep him secure.
Yeah. Well, today, first off, thank you everybody for joining us for Taco
you.
Tuesdays, where we have conversations about weird news. Nothing should be taken seriously. This is strictly for entertainment purposes only.
Purposes. Yeah.
Yes, we are strange people exercising our First Amendment rights.
Are we
Please
strange people?
don't hate us. Please don't harm us in any way. Yes.
I was just pulling up the conversation on my tablet here. So
yes, we've got a lot of wonderful people. Like I said, if you could
Yeah.
like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. Later in the show, we have the amazing Kitty Connell with us. Chuck, do you have my book is on the bed because I was in bed with Lorcan and Ariel and the whole passion of the triage, whatever that is.
Yeah,
do you got the book? Do you got the book in front of you? Oh, there it is. Oh my God. Does it remind you a little bit of that book, that Scottish Highlands book? What is it about? Where the woman is a medicine woman and she goes back in time. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the title. Maybe one of our viewers would know the title.
The Highlander. I think that's actually what it's called.
Highlander. Okay, yeah. That was made
Highlander
into
series.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was made into a series. Yeah.
Well, I think Lorcan's Bane could be a series. I think she's powerful enough.
Absolutely.
Outlander. Thank you. Well, it's like that, only it's different. And it's we're going to bring Kitty on a little later in the show, but it's different in the sense that she's a lot less cooked. She's very young. She's very powerful, but the character really has not seen anything of the world. Her idea of being sophisticated is the fact that she can go out and ride a horse on her own. I mean, so she lives in a very filtered world. The main character in this book, which is different than the other in the Outlander series. It's a mature adult. She's married. She's been a nurse. So there are differences between the two characters for sure.
But it's a more concentrated world. Maybe there's just a purity to that even.
Yeah. And also, it's good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. Joel Tilson is here. Thank you so much. He says the siege, of Crimea is starting. I did get permission from Spirit to announce that D-Day would be June 17th to the 21st, give or take. I try to give people exact dates because I am a remote viewer. I do that for a living.
So I've heard. So I tell people.
We're
book your appointments. Yeah.
Right. So we're looking at softening right now in Crimea. It looks like, let's see what Joel has to say about that. He is our floor director. He says the siege of Crimea is already beginning. So what do you think? Do you think that's like a softening now? Chuck, do you think that they're softening Crimea before the big?
I can't begin to even speculate there to what's going on. I don't know. It's quite possible. Quite possible. This is more your authority, your expertise. What do you feel?
Well, I think the Ukrainian Crimean offensive is definitely happening. Joel and I were talking. He says June. Asked me about June. Yeah, June. Well on its way by July.
Yeah.
They know they have to take Crimea by the fall before the rainy season. And I don't think that Putin has an army to defend Crimea anymore.
Oh, no. I think he's gone through his resources. It's really bad. Really bad. We're doing their best to cover it up, but I think that, they've run out of resources, weaponry, running out of funds, morale is low.
So people are talking about what they're eating and drinking as usual. Sorry about my cough. I just finished eating. Gives me a cough.
Toast.
It was matzah with I can't do wheat, and the worst thing in the world for me is matzah. I shouldn't be doing it with my digestion, but I love it. So yes, it gives me a little cough after I have it. But I had some matzah for lunch and a mushroom omelet. Yes.
Oh, that sounds.
So that's
delicious.
when I said I got to go take care of something. Like 15 minutes before we went live, I said I got to go take care of something. And I went and shoved some omelet into my mouth.
Yeah.
Mushroom omelet.
I had a piece of cheese. I had eaten something very quickly because I knew we were doing a long show today. And I thought I better put a little something in my stomach before we start.
What did you have? You had cheese, you said?
I had a piece of cheese. I ate a lunch earlier today. This for a little bit of fortification.
Well, we let guests drink. We let guests drink on the show, so maybe break open a bottle of scotch or something to tide you over.
Oh, I should have thought of that. No, I'm just having flavored soda water right now.
All right, well, that works. Debbie Brady says regarding the Marines marching song, they had to clean it up when they started to allow women in. I guess it was pretty naughty. Bathroom humor.
We should look up those lyrics and see if they're online.
You want to talk about closing arguments?
Yes. Oh, yes. Closing arguments, let's see, begin tomorrow, don't they?
Oh, I think they started today.
They started today. That's right. They did. Yeah.
So Stephanie is talking about that. She says that she's able to join. Great. She's been away. Oh, well, we're glad you're back, Stephanie. Anyway, she said, the closing arguments. It's been crazy. Have you heard any of them?
Well, I
I
I
didn't,
just saw a little bit of news coverage today, but I understand that the lawyers have actually received their instructions, and supposedly Donald Trump got wind from his lawyers of those instructions. He's already spoken out about how unfair and unjust he thinks it all is. I think
Mhm.
part of it has to do. The jurors are going to have three different options for going through all the felony charges, and they don't have to be unanimous. That
Mhm.
they can, because they're going to decide on whether something is a federal election violation, a state election violation, or if it's a tax violation,
Oh,
and they
wow.
don't have to, and they don't have to be in unanimous agreement. So that was something that surprised me today when I heard
I
that.
think, yeah. So I think that he's going to get not guilty on two major. He gets a few not guilties.
Yeah, but
Um, what
how
I
many
fa-
are there?
Yeah, go ahead.
How
Please
many?
go ahead.
How many? I was just going to say how
34,
many?
34. I think
34.
34 counts, but
Yeah,
a
that's
few are going to be thrown out. I think some have already gotten thrown out. It felt to me when I was the judge and the jury that the actual sentence was mild considering what had happened to Cohen. And there was a feeling in the courtroom like, man, your client is paranoid. So
Mhm.
that leads me. So if Cohen did prison, why did he do prison and Trump wouldn't? That's what's got me baffled. Why is Trump's
Yeah.
crime less? Why is the person that hired the perpetrator? If you hire someone to shoot somebody, are you just as culpable as the person that pulled the
Yes.
trigger?
You are definitely just as guilty. Definitely. And I'm sure the jurors
Is that
are
what
going
the
to
law
concur on
says?
that.
It,
I don't know the specifics of the wordings of the law, but I do know that the person would be held accountable. So, if it theoretically, if a person hired another person to commit the murder, that person would be just as guilty of that murder.
right,
So in these
right.
charges, I'm sure this is going to be the case.
So I remember doing a remote view for those people. Welcome, everybody, by the way. If we haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to say hi to you, we will do the empath prayer. We're just doing the opening arguments and greetings and all that good stuff, just so
Yeah.
that people know what the hot topics are today. But regarding Trump, we did talk extensively about a remote view that I did a few years back when I first made contact with Michael Cohen. And that's how I knew he had repented and that he was sincere, because he was so open to me as a remote viewer that I found it easy to get it. I got his documents. And that's why I was able. That's when a lot
Yeah.
of people that were on the fence about remote viewing started to watch. That's when our numbers really went up, because we were able to
Yeah.
actually get in, locate what they were looking for, locate signatures on
Yeah.
documents. So the takeaway from all of that was that when Michael Cohen had negotiated his deal with, oops, do I have the right one here? When he had negotiated with with Robert Mueller initially, uh, Robert Mueller had said, we can put you in prison for a very long time. So according to the information that we got on Robert Mueller, they had evidence of Michael Cohen engaging in other crimes.
Hmm.
Because why else would Robert Mueller have said we can put you away for a very long time?
Yeah.
And
He's very
if you want to
confident about that.
avoid, and if you want to avoid that, you need to start making some phone calls.
Yeah.
So that told us a few things. Number one, it told us that he felt bad. Number two, he was talking to Robert Mueller and telling Mueller everything. And number three, he was making a deal with Robert Mueller. And number
Hmm.
four, it told us that Michael Cohen had engaged in other crimes, which was not public information.
Hmm.
And I think David Pecker was a huge part of that. Because we didn't hear a lot about David Pecker up until he had to talk. Do you remember that, Chuck?
Yeah. Yeah. I do. I do. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I saw the name come up today, and first of all, it's such an unusual name. That's a name you remember. And I thought the same thing. That's not a name I've seen for quite a while.
Yeah. So it's, catch and kill wasn't the thing they were doing that was illegal. What was illegal was that he was sending letters and calling people, threatening people and threatening their families. And at that point, they could have the feds could have made life really hellish for Michael Cohen because he was the garbage guy. He was the creepy lawyer that was calling and threatening people and doing questionable things. He was doing Trump's dirt. Right. And the other thing I found out when I went in is that, I'm sorry, what was that?
I was saying the front man for Trump.
He was the front man. And also, I think he may have been involved in some questionable business deals. He stole from the company. So the point is that they chose not to prosecute Michael Cohen for a number of things. And they were talking about multiple counts. So that was interesting for us, right? Those of us that like to hang out and do remote viewing, because then we had information. We had dirt on Cohen. We knew that the fact that he had stolen from the Trump company, etc., they had dirt on Cohen. We now knew, oh, they got dirt on him. Oh, he's going to have to make a deal. Oh, he's going to have to turn to the state and the feds. And that's exactly what happened. He went he did his time. He did what, 4-6 months, a year? How much time did he do?
I'm not sure it was how much time it was. Maybe one of the people out there would know.
Right. And then
it was under a year, wasn't it?
Right.
Wasn't it under a year?
Yeah. And during the time that he was serving, he was being deposed something like 30 times or more for the state case. And that was basically how he avoided a longer prison sentence. So I guess my question to the audience now, after that big ramble, is if Trump did not make that deal, and if it went all the way to court, why should he get less? Why would Trump get less prison time than Michael Cohen, a man that did almost a year with a deal? See why I'm confused?
Yeah, no, I think it makes perfect sense. I think Trump has to be held accountable almost equally in this. I don't see, otherwise Trump would be getting special treatment. And I have a feeling they're not going to let that happen. They're going to go out of their way to make sure he doesn't get special treatment.
Right. So I guess that's my question to the audience. Do any of you understand the law? Like, why wouldn't he go to prison? I don't understand. Like, Cohen went to prison. So why are people so confident that this guy's not going to go to prison? I guess that's what's got me so confused.
I wonder if it has to do with the fact that we have just seen Trump consistently get away with the most atrocious things over and over and over again, that we've become conditioned to expect him to get away with this. I wonder if there's some psychology there in that, and maybe that's where it's coming from. But I think what you just said makes perfect sense. If he is not to get special treatment, he's got to be treated the same way, at least the same way. Something commensurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead. I guess everybody's here. The conversation is active. If you haven't had a chance to share, like, subscribe, think about being a member, donations, or if you had a good time and you decide to donate, the money goes to keep the channel up and running, pay our amazing actors, and all that good stuff. You ready to do the empath's prayer?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's get into it. Okay. And then we will blitz away. Sound good?
It sounds great to me. Okay.
I want to call on white light protection for myself and Chuck as we ask permission from Spirit to access his Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen.
Amen.
Well, let's go into some of those blitzes, my darling. Let's go into those. Anything and everything goes. I don't know. Yeah. So you want to talk about the Ukrainian Crimean offensive? I'm surprised that people were attacking the enforcer. like I saw a few people attacking the enforcer. I've looked at the enforcer's news, and they usually go with the AP and other reliable news sources, and they seem to be fairly well informed. So I'm surprised people were teasing us for occasionally watching the enforcer, because I think the enforcer's a pretty good talk radio, talk podcast where people do seem to want to get their facts straight. But the Ukrainian Crimea in offensive. Chuck, what are you feeling? It's summertime. The land is dry. This is the best time for them to take Crimea. Do you want to go ahead? You want to, let's see, yes or no, if Ukraine is going to try and take Crimea. Yes, I got a yes on that.
I got decisions and restriction. These were the two that came up. Decisions, they're still weighing this, but it certainly would make sense rather than doing this during the winter months. That's just common sense there, certainly. But I get it's still in the decision stage, and there are certain restrictions they're still working around. But what are you getting?
Well, my question, that makes sense, though, that they would have restrictions because there was trouble getting money in, and they need like they said, they need $1 billion just to shoot down enemy aircraft, just to shoot the enemy aircraft down. So, so what were the cards you got? I'm just curious.
I got the cards. I got restriction and decisions. Decisions and restrictions.
Can you do a third? Can you do a third card?
Yes.
Just curious.
Actually, I pulled two at the same time. I got risk and loss. Risk and loss.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a high price for doing this. A lot of risk, a lot of loss is going to be involved.
Both sides are very dogmatic. Two of Swords is a refusal to budge. So in the sense that Zelensky, no, you must leave all of Ukraine, including Crimea. So Two of Swords, there is no negotiation with Zelensky. He is the father that we all wish we had had. He doesn't tolerate BS. He doesn't allow him. There's no gaslighting here. No, the world is not better if you take Crimea and we share everything. It's a real intolerance from Zelensky. No, there is no ceasefire here. His opposition, King of Pentacles, this has always been a money-making operation. Ukraine is an economic investment. This is money, 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 money. And you have to have some empathy for the Russians in the sense of just how much money they lost when they lost their ports, when they lost these trade routes, when they felt boxed in on the Black Sea, etc.
The ruble is worthless right now. The ruble, their economy is destroyed, from what I understand.
It's not good here, Chuck. It's not good. You have complete intolerance, the money man moving into Crimea, hopes and fears, incarceration, oppression, etc. Look at this inverted Four of Swords, which can be death. The clarification, it could be that people are so concerned that Ukraine is going to lose the war that the East pumps more money into Russia's coffers. He could be getting an influx from China and Iran with these types of cards. You can see here an inverted mastery card.
Yeah.
So we have got to be as committed to saving Ukraine as the East is in taking control of the trade route. If we truly want democracy, if we truly want the West to survive and thrive, then we have to be willing to invest in it, and we have to be willing to protect it. And you can see the opposition. It's all about the money. Look at the money. It's everything in Putin's house, and the occupation is all about, it's our church. Look what they did when they went into the churches. When Russia went into Ukraine, what was the first thing they did? They ransacked the churches. And why did they ransack the churches? because the
Artwork,
church is
money.
right. Artwork, money, and things that had been given on loan by by St. Petersburg. So they simply went and took it back.
Mm-hmm.
So
Often the case
that's
with museums also. Museums often get ransacked that same way.
right. So what did they do? They took all of the icons, all of the holy stuff, Bibles and sacred stuff that had originally come from St. Petersburg, and they brought it all back to St. Petersburg. It's kind of like, you don't want to play with us. We're taking our ball back. We're taking control of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. We're taking, excuse me, we're taking control of the port, and we're taking back our church. So it's always been this and the economics of the church, right? Because money gets poured into the church. No new, nothing to be built. And also this feeling of just being completely strapped by Zelensky. He has no option, but they must take Crimea. Justice is coming for Crimea. Look, we got to get it together. The West has to get it together. It can't be, excuse me, halfway in, halfway out.
No.
That's what it looks like. It looks like we're halfway in and halfway out. And it's not going to work because the East thinks that we are evil. The East thinks, Iran thinks that Israel is little Satan and America's big Satan. So
it's interesting you said that, because I just had another card pull out. Balance. There has to be a balance between all of this, and definitely competition is going on right now.
Let's do another one, and let's see who wins. Will Ukraine win back Crimea by this summer?
You want me to ask that as a yes or no pendulum question?
Yeah, but we can also do some cards on it if you want. I'm going to grab another deck.
Ukraine win in the summer.
Got like 20 decks here today.
Okay, I'm getting.
So not by this summer?
I gotta know. Not by, because that's how I phrased it, by the end of the summer.
Yeah, I don't think it would be until the fall.
By the end of the summer. Yeah, that's a definite no.
Okay, what about your cards?
Well, I'm going to pull a card here. Let me shuffle these.
Oh, I know what it is.
These are probably not the right kind of cards for this, but I got judgment. There's a lot of judgment going on behind this. But what are you getting? Because I know you're going to be far more specific.
Well, for example, Joel has been really helpful about giving us the numbers and everything, but it looks like 600,000 Russian soldiers, not all of them Russian, some of them come from Nepal, China, etc. But 600,000 dead.
Yeah.
They are going to receive all the aid they need. A positive letter comes to Ukraine, which means everything got approved. Look at their opposition, broken hearts. So by harvest moon, it's probably over, which means the end of August, going into fall, because this is my harvest moon. I use my cards to give dates. Moon is the harvest moon time.
Yeah.
So harvest moon is what, usually the third week of August, right? Or September. It's a beautiful time of year. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
The time of the moon, La Luna.
I could be, La Luna. Seems like that's like the tail end of summer, early fall, like September.
Yeah.
I could be wrong on that, of course.
Yeah, there's the clarification is the sun.
That's usually harvest time, the fall. Early fall.
Well, look, harvest moon comes in late August, late August, September. Fall is September 21st. So here's your answer, though. August is the sun card, and then harvest moon is the moon card. So specifically, the war will be over end of August, but they're already leaving. They don't want to be there. Would you want to be there for the ground invasion? They're being told to leave.
Oh, good God, no.
The Russians and the Ukrainians have been very nice to the people living in. Oh, thank you, Catherine Weed. We have a new member, a fairy and angel. Much gratitude to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
They were saying that the Russians are being really, really nice to the people of Crimea, like in the sense that they're saying, you know, you got to leave, you can't stay. We wish you could stay, but you better get out of here. Like anybody, because the Russian army hired people to go and take over certain canteens, places where Russian soldiers would go shopping. But that became a problem too, because they were being paid by the Russian military and they were having to turn down Russian soldiers. So Russian soldier would come and say, I want vodka. I want 2 things of vodka. And these people that were stationed there, hired by the Russian army, who were Russians themselves, were net. We do not sell vodka to soldiers. So what has started to happen in Crimea, because as soon as they go from Crimea into their units, they're dead within 8 hours. They're going to be dead in a couple of days, and they know it. So their first stop is to go and to load up on booze when they're in Crimea.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I want to get good and drunk. Nope, we're not going to sell you any booze. So what's happened now is that the canteens are being raided by angry Russian soldiers who are just taking it. That's the level that it's gotten to in Crimea. Yeah. So they don't want to piss anybody off. They're trying to make it as nice as possible, but they're telling people you got to get out of there. Oh.
Mm-hmm. As there should be. I wouldn't want to be there.
No, yeah. No. So, we're based on the cards and based on what Chuck and I see, we're looking at probably Ukraine being able to take back with the help of NATO around right before fall. Yeah. Nice. Fall. Good questions. Let's see what else is going on. Did you have anything else? Did you have anything else you wanted to add to that, or?
No, I don't. Let's see what else we have here.
Mari Jane had an interesting question. I don't know if you saw this. She wanted to know if Trump had, did any of the jurors feel sorry for Trump, do you think?
That's a good question. I mean, it's been, I suppose in the way that you and I as empaths can feel sorry for Trump as we would for any other human being, but nonetheless, what he has done is apparently despicable. And no, I wouldn't feel any sympathy. So I don't know. Well, we can't speak for the jurors. We can't. But I would think that if there was any sympathy, they would also be looking at the reality of the situation and the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are people there with heavy hearts. I mean, this is an awful thing. A former president of the United States reduced to this type of trial. This is an American tragedy.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
I think if I were sitting on the juror, that's how I personally would be seeing it. This is an American tragedy that this had to happen in the first place, that it's come to this. But I would also want justice.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look. Let's pull a couple cards and just see if we can get a feeling about what the jurors in the Trump trial are thinking right about now.
Okay, that's a good question. What I pulled is odd, but I'm going to just say what I got. I got new beginnings, new life. I take that to mean justice. Justice has prevailed. Ding dong, the witch is dead. We can move on. Let's put this behind us. Justice has been served. New life, new beginnings. That's the only thing I can interpret from these cards. I initially saw them and I thought, how strange. This is what jumped out.
You know what I was thinking when I saw that is that his new life as a convicted felon starts now.
Yeah. Because usually I think of these cards as positive, but new life can mean many different things. And
Oh my
once
God,
that
you're gonna
is,
love these cards. This is what it is to be a juror in the Trump Stormy Daniel trial. We're going by
okay.
the book. We're going by the book, people. This is the
Mm-hmm.
first thing that they want us to
Love that.
know. Doesn't matter if he was the former. What is the evidence in front of us? What does the book say?
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good for him. It's a strong
Mm-hmm.
case against him because you've got the clouds. And look at this. The sickle is coming. The sickle of death,
Ooh.
the cross he must bear.
Oh my God.
Let's do a clarification. So that's why I'm saying it's not looking good. Regarding it,
Oh.
in the garden, they're going to be glad this is over, boy. The opposition, the bear, the
I
hopes
got
and fears.
judgment. Judgment. You asked me to pull another card. Judgment.
Yeah. Yeah, he's guilty. He's found guilty. You can
Yeah.
see here also they go by the law, but you can see also this garden. There's almost this feeling of like being, thank God we're out of there. They want to be
Yes.
out of there. The opposition is very protective. The bear is protective, and the other thing I would say is clouds. So Nikki Haley is in Israel right now, and she's talking like the future president of the United States. It's obvious. They know that she's going to be. Come on, man. She visited Kibbutz Berry, right? And she wanted to make statements like she's the future president about her international policies regarding the state of it. Come on. Everybody knows that this guy is out to lunch. You know what is interesting also about Trump and the jury? They see him as a child. They feel bad giving the axe to a child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at this. The cross he must bear and heartbreak. He's convicted.
Yeah. Well, one of the things is, we don't get to see what's going on in the courtroom, the way the jurors are. They have a direct view of this man, this old, broken down man, falling asleep, and according to reports, farting while he's sleeping in court. I mean, I'm sure looking quite pathetic.
Yeah.
Yes, but looking quite pathetic to these jurors. So I suppose anybody who has an ounce of empathy is going to feel sorry for that, at least. But nonetheless, as you said, justice is going to prevail. They're going to go by the book. They're going to do what's right. I feel that strongly.
Stephanie Stevens wanted to know why Trump's lawyers brought up Karen McDougal and Trump's affair. Why did Trump's lawyers bring it up? I have no idea. I didn't, it seems to me like that's another case of catch and kill. Which is another case of suppressing evidence that would have possibly affected whether or not people voted for him. Who he reminds me of, Trump, in a way? He reminds me of Richard Nixon, in the sense that, like Nixon very likely would have been reelected. He didn't have to do the Watergate break-in.
Well, actually, I was just going to say, of course, Nixon obviously was reelected, but he didn't need to do the Watergate break-in. He had a reasonable amount of popularity. This was coming on the heels of all the China summits and everything. He was in a very good position as a world leader. He was reasonably respected. But Nixon was also known to be a deeply paranoid man. And I think that may have been his undoing. His fears, his paranoia, that he wasn't enough on his own.
Yeah. And in the same way, I think that for whatever reason, Michigan was going to go to Trump. I think that's something. The fact that people in Pennsylvania and Michigan were so upset about losing their jobs, the fact that they blamed Clinton for what had happened, the Clinton administration. So I'm not so sure that they already knew he was a dirty dog. He bragged about it. I don't think that he was like Trump was like Nixon, in the sense that he committed a crime that he didn't need to. If it had all come out and he had said, I wasn't running for president. I lived the club life and I did some naughty things. I'm not proud of myself. he would have been fine.
Well, I mean, Trump has said far more outrageous things and gotten away with it. I mean, the classic grab him by the pussy remark, that
Yeah.
alone should have completely derailed his campaign. Any other presidential candidate would have been destroyed by that. But he just seems to have this Teflon coating on him where everything rolls off of him. You know, it's like he can say or do anything, and hence one of our people here said, we've been just traumatized by him so much that's why, even though this looks like a clear case against him, we all, I think many of us hold that fear he's going to get away with it again because we've watched it over and over.
So the other question that's been coming in, for those people who are just joining us, we're spending a little extra time. We don't usually spend this much time on the orange person, the number 45, but we did decide that we were going to do it today because he is so special. Because no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, he does look pretty miserable there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because
at least he's awake.
So closing arguments are done, you know. And I thought it was a really interesting picture. This is the picture that happened when they were just about to arrest him. Look at all those police.
Yeah.
And look at how terrified. They're not even looking at him. I mean, look at his counsel. They're all going forward. This to me feels, as a remote viewer, like I remember this. Oh, I remember when the man had the control. This reminds me of reform school. This reminds me of when I was sent to that place and I had to have hands on the table where we could see them. Do not, we're going to come and inspect everybody prior to the exam. Your pencil should be sharpened. He's back there. He's back there. I'm telling you. It must have been the most traumatic experience to have been sent to that military school, aka reform school.
Oh, I think so.
Half an inch from juvie. I'm telling you.
I think just the mere fact this man has been forced to sit still and stay quiet for several hours at a time is like a personal hell for him. The man has the attention span of a gnat, according to people who have ever been around him. With his ADHD and everything, and for him to just have to sit there and to be muzzled and to not be able to respond, that's when he's not falling asleep and farting in the courtroom,
God, yeah. We had an interesting, thank you, Jill, Linda, for this question. She said, what do you think about Eileen Cannon? You know, she's another one that's out of control. Can we do anything to stop her? What do you think about this whole thing with Eileen Cannon?
Could you bring me up to speed on Eileen Cannon, please?
Eileen Cannon, the one that's been blocking out of Georgia, the documents case.
Yeah. Yes.
Joel says, he looks like a teacher put him on a timeout. That's what Dwight says.
That's putting it.
Joel Tilson thinks that, the fact that we have to do this is so bothersome to me. The fact that we have to go around corrupt judges in order to get this lunatic off the streets. But Joel is saying that Smith is finding ways to go around Eileen Cannon. I don't know.
Was that judge appointed by Trump?
Yes.
Thought so.
And
you said corrupt judges.
Linda Kingsley says something really interesting here. She said, when Nixon opened up China, she opened up a Pandora's box.
How so?
Because all the good came out of China. Like all,
that's right.
Art and history and culture.
I remember that now as a kid. I remember even the panda bears. Remember they loaned pandas to America for the first time. Ping pong suddenly became a big fad in America coming from China.
And Ling Ling. Don't forget Ling Ling.
Yes, that's right.
Ling Ling gave birth, remember?
Yeah, I still remember all this from grade school, watching this on the news. I still remember as a kid watching when Nixon's plane arrived at the airport in Shanghai, and they had the literal red carpet out on the runway for him, the big ceremony. And I remember there was even someone marching behind Nixon holding the red phone. The red phone.
Are you
Apparently, you pick up.
serious? Oh my
I'd have
God,
to
that's
look back on this, but I
crazy.
remember this as a kid. And of course, it was all for show. It was all for show for the cameras, but supposedly the point was wherever the president goes, he has the nuclear codes, the briefcase, he has the phone that he can pick
Can you
up to
imagine?
call.
We pick up the phone and we call, and there's like, yeah, it's Fridays. What do you want? We got a pizza special. It's like the whole thing could be totally fake.
I mean, it was so
We'll
I
take
look back
2
on it now.
large
It was for show.
pepperoni.
You're reminding me of a play I saw in London many years ago. It was back in the 1980s when Margaret Thatcher was in office, and it was called The Cabinet Mole, and it was about Margaret Thatcher's cleaning lady at night. When Margaret Thatcher had gone home, the cleaning lady would get on the phone and do an impeccable impersonation of Thatcher and call up Mikhail Gorbachev and call up Reagan.
That's
I don't remember all the
hysterical.
specifics, but it was one of the funniest plays. I'd love to read the script of it again.
Oh, I thought it really happened. I was hoping it really happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny.
No, I just had a question here. This is so. Never mind. I'll have to go address it
What was
later.
the question? Go ahead. We're
Well,
just moving
someone
on
said
to
I
the next
noticed
topic.
Anna May Wong on your wall. No, that's Clara Bow, not Anna May Wong, though I think Anna May Wong was incredible. That's an autographed picture of Clara Bow.
Let's do
by the
that
way.
one. That
But
was
anyway,
better.
you were saying. Yeah.
So the saga continues with Where is
Yes.
Kate? We had several questions over the week. How come you stopped talking about Kate? We can get back to Kate. We've got a couple more minutes so we can close with some
Mhm.
royal news.
Some royal
They
news.
are,
Okay.
yes, the
A
royal
royal
news
flush.
is, I don't know. Now they're saying that she won't be coming back anytime soon. They're announcing that, yeah, she's not coming back. Where is
Yeah.
she?
Well, allegedly, she's going through her cancer treatments right now, and she needs time to heal and recover. But when they're using words like she's coming back soon, I think I wonder if we'll ever see her again. Because you've had some readings. Didn't you do a remote viewing on this where you saw that she more or less had just been
I
put away?
hated that. Well, I just felt like I
Yeah.
was back with Princess Diana because he was gone. He needed a break. I felt a lot of interesting things as Prince William. When I'm Prince William, when I get to be Prince William, I feel like I was trapped, and because I'm trapped, I take it out on my wife, and then she is trying to fix things. She's the codependent trying to fix things, and the more she tries to fix things, the crazier and stupider I think she is. It's a stupid idea. It's a terrible idea. I hate that idea. So she became more and more desperate to fix it. He began to more and more say she was crazy. My wife's crazy. That's a crazy idea. You're crazy. She's crazy. Catherine's crazy. But what she was is a woman desperately trying to save her marriage, and he was calling her crazy. So then in the next scene, so now I'm being called crazy, which is making me very anxious. And then I'm trying to and then being even more crazy. And now I'm in this cycle of you're crazy, and trying to fix and make things better. And so what am I doing to make things better? I'm going to church, I'm praying, I'm getting private counseling from the bishop, getting involved, getting my kids more involved in religious studies. And now I want to bring my husband in. Well, he can't stand that. He took off to the pub. He doesn't believe in any of that nonsense. So then in the next scene, I was like Princess Diana, drinking alone at night. And he was off doing whatever. And that's exactly what happened to Princess Diana, having the drinks while she's on the phone, watching the telly by herself. And this was the same type of loneliness I felt.
Yeah. Well, there's something interesting. I was just here playing with the cards, and, I always let cards drop out. I got competition, and I got the hit William does not want to have happen to him what happened between his mother and father, where Diana basically eclipsed Prince Charles. Kate has always been very popular with the public. Maybe he started to get jealous and fearful she was going to eclipse him in a similar way and become the more popular of the two.
Well, he's definitely prone to jealousy, like the jealousy he has towards his brother.
Definitely.
Let's go ahead and see how she's doing. They say that she was out and about. There were no pictures, but she evidently made it out to some place today with her kids.
No, do we know that was her?
Evidently, evidently they say she looks thin and weak, but she's recovering, and she is conscious, and she was out and about. But I don't know if anyone had a picture of her. But they say she looks weak, but she is out and about.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that could have been a decoy, like a double that they put in, because that's been speculated before. That's why I'm just throwing that out as one possibility if you have feelings about that.
Let's take a look. Let's see.
Yeah. Oh boy. I had 3 here. The first one is kind of obvious, despair, but I also got rest and exhaustion. Like she's just worn out. Poor thing is sick. She's worn out. She's had enough of this. She's in despair, probably not knowing what the next move is, but right now just needing rest, and she's exhausted, in utter exhaustion.
Yeah. I don't get that she's unconscious. I don't get that anything like that. The man who looks, it's interesting that she would choose this, because she lives her life both in front of the camera but behind the camera. She's quite an amazing photographer. And so it's interesting that she would choose the looking glass as her image of herself, the person who's, trying to get an image of things. She sees William as a heartbroken person. So she's at a point in her life now where she's kind of observing her life. I do feel she's in recovery. And I think that she's genuinely worried about her husband. He's the one that's having a rough time. There's communication happening between them regarding this, and she remains loyal to the firm. She is the dog of loyalty. So it goes back to what King Charles III had said about her. Is not loyalty worth something? Is not loyalty worth something? She's so loyal. She's so loyal, and that should be worth something.
I'm wondering if that is as much to do with her children, because her children are the heirs to the throne, and she's looking out for them. And that's part of her loyalty, maybe more so than to William. It's for the highest good of her kids, and certainly the future king.
Some women know how to play the game. And in some ways, I think that Kate Middleton knows how to play the game. She's smarter than people realize. She is clever like a fox.
She's well educated too.
Yes, she's like Sheikh Faisal's first wife never divorced him. They've been married over 40 years. The guy's gone through several dozen wives. He'll fire 6 of them in one, and then he takes the children, and what he does? He gives them to his wife, the first wife, who's been with him since she was 17 years old. She doesn't argue. She doesn't complain. She's ferociously loyal to the king. And every time he says, "I've given you another baby from one of my mistresses," the wife says, "Oh, another baby. Thank you, king." And now she's got like 20 children. She's, anything for the king. He loves her, right? Because she just is so devoted to him. She doesn't argue. She just takes all of his children from all of his mistresses. She was born to that job, and she doesn't argue. What you have here, which is to be clever, she's not going to get killed by the king. She's not going to be locked in a dungeon because she doesn't argue with him. If you the taming of Kate, right? The taming of the shrew. You want to avoid being tamed? Just agree with them, and then they won't need to tame you.
Mm-hmm.
She is clever like a fox.
Mm-hmm.
The sun is coming out over him, heartbreak. She feels genuinely sorry for the man. There's some truths coming out about him, and he's having a real
Mm-hmm.
rough time of it. I'm worried
Sure.
about you, William. I mean,
Yeah.
she's very clever. All she has to do is just look like the understanding Kate that she is, and
Yeah.
let all she has to do is be clever like a fox. She holds the key.
Yeah. Well, I feel she's
I'm more
always had.
popular than you are.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
just what I was going to say, is that is her ace in the hole. She's always been more popular. She has public support. When the public
Exactly.
has rallied to her side throughout all of this, a lot of things that were questioned were because of the public. Like that picture, was that done with artificial intelligence? That video, was that artificial intelligence? Are these doubles? The public is suspicious and they're on her side. And it's also interesting. Wendy had a
Yeah.
comment here about, did you see that? No pictures were taken by the public. Now that's
Well,
odd. You would think somebody would have gotten something with their phone.
if she's at Adelaide, these are closed communities that are high security, that only members of the royal family get to live in these closed communities.
Oh, I
And
see.
so if she's walking around in the garden and you're getting into your car and you're about to leave that secure area and you see her, talking to one of her children, hello, oh, I just saw her. But it would be
Yeah.
inappropriate for some elderly matron who has a free place to live because the queen gave her to be taking photographs of the next door neighbor, because this is a very
Yeah.
expansive piece of land that's high security with
Mm-hmm.
people of noble birth, etc., are entitled to live there. So some of the next door neighbors have said, yeah, we see her. They're not going to be snapping pictures and whatnot, the Duke
Mm-hmm.
of whatever. So people that are best friends of them. But evidently she was finally got out with the kids and did a walkabout inside that area. And
Yeah.
people said that she looked very tired, weak, thin, but that she is definitely not in a coma.
Yeah.
I tend to believe it, because I think in a
Yeah.
the same thing happens, when you go to certain universities like Brown University, you'll have these crazy wild parties, but it's understood that if there are celebrities that are going to Brown University, you don't take pictures of them in compromising
Mm-hmm.
situations, which is why a lot of celebrities go to Brown University, like
Sure.
the actress that was Hermione in Harry Potter went there because she knew that she was going to be given privacy, she would be able to go to
Mm-hmm.
parties, etc.,
Oh, yeah.
and she would be respected. So you kind of have that feeling about where Kate lives, that kind of these closed off
Yeah.
estates,
Yeah.
and it doesn't necessarily mean people are lying. Yeah.
Yeah. We have those type of clubs here in LA that celebrities go to for that very reason, because they know they're safe from being photographed, they're safe from the press. But I would think in a case like this, the royal family would want pictures to be leaked of her. They would want something going out to the public saying, look, she's okay. She's
I
ill.
wouldn't.
She's recovering.
If
You
I
don't
were
think that?
her, no. If I were her, I would not. It takes a
Yeah.
tremendous amount of energy to be in front
Yeah.
of the camera, looking incredible, feeling great.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not 2 hours. Yes, you see them for 2 hours, but it took months to prepare that. They have to pick the clothes, they have to pick the lighting,
Sure.
they have to have a makeup artist, etc.
Mm-hmm.
She is very weak. She's come out of
Yeah.
chemo. She feels like crap. She was
Yeah.
already thin. The fact that she can walk around the yard, she's finally getting up and
Yeah.
walking a little bit.
Yeah.
She had a colostomy bag that was removed evidently recently. So
Mm-hmm.
just, no, she doesn't need to be
Yeah.
when
Oh,
she's
yeah.
gained some weight maybe.
Yeah.
But
I was just
that's
thinking
the
from
latest. Yeah.
I was thinking of the perspective of the royal family, just for
Yeah.
PR purposes, just to confirm, hey, look, she's not in a coma. Look, we don't have her locked away in the Tower of London. Look, she's walking the ground. Just that's what I mean by that. No matter what she looks like, I would think they would allow
Well,
pictures to be leaked
let's
out.
go ahead and check it out. Is she going to be okay? Is she going to be seen in the public soon? And then we'll go ahead and close. And we have an interesting guest after this.
Yes, we do. Fabulous guest.
Ooh, 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 ooh. I got some
And
good news.
well, I had 3 good ones jump out here. Go
Yeah.
for it. I got life force,
Yeah,
epiphany,
she's gonna
and
be
and
fine.
and look at this one, purpose. She's got a
Yeah.
purpose. She's got a
Yeah,
reason.
that's what I
And she
got.
life
Mhm.
force. You did. You got the same thing?
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
up chatting, so she's gonna be out in the public soon. Not
Yeah.
good for the there's an exposé coming out about the royals. They lost a ton of money on Russia. Look at her opposition. Tower, money,
Wow.
exposé. Could have been people that she knew, or William could have been involved also, which is why there was fighting. But
Mhm.
she's out chatting. I've gotten better. Hopes and fears. She wants to go buy the book. But look at this. She's out and about, the writer.
Mm,
I'm telling
good.
you, she's like the first wife of King Faisal. She is loyal and she knows how to play the game. Look at that. The sun is coming over her. That's a very good sign. The calla lilies of death and the tower over her husband. Hopes and fears.
Oh,
Moon. Real confusion. Doesn't understand why this went wrong. Like, I don't know how, I genuinely don't know how to help my husband.
wow. This is
She's the man
fascinating.
who looks. She's fascinated, curious. You know what? I think she's going to become a wildlife photographer. And if she continues in this area, it would be great if she does get to go to Africa and to all these
Yeah.
places with her husband if she's
Yeah.
feeling better, because I can see her going out and shooting some amazing photography. This is the camera card. I use it for
It sounds
camera.
it sounds to me like she may have a more independent life once this is behind her. When you mentioned things like
Yeah.
going to Africa, going on safari, shooting animals, she's going to be more of her own woman.
Well, why
Maybe
get a
even
divorce? I mean, like, those cards are great for her to stay married to him. Let him go and have his girlfriends. She
yeah,
has a message. She's going to be a great queen. I think she could stay
yeah.
and be queen. I don't think this is necessarily going to result in a divorce. Not with those cards.
Well, I
Mm-mm.
think she's going to be an incredible asset as the queen, much
Yeah.
like Jackie Kennedy was to John Kennedy. She's going to be like that, a tremendous asset because she's so beloved, truthfully, far more beloved than him, and probably more than he ever will be. You know.
Yeah, good point. Well, did you
And
have
remember what
fun?
I had fun. I had fun. I was just going to say what Diana said. If she ever were queen, she'd be a queen of hearts. That's what I see
Yes,
for
yes.
Catherine, a queen of hearts. But yes,
Yeah,
I had a great
Catherine's a
time.
good person. Yeah, everybody who knows Catherine. I just read an interview with the guy the butler, and he was terrified. You're going to be working for William and Kate. And he's like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. And he's all scared and he shows up and she's like setting the table. Hello, I just decided to get started early for you. My name's Catherine. Hi. And talk, 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 talk. And she's like helping him and cleaning things up. And she does everything herself, very down to earth. And he said it was just, he said she treated me like a dear friend, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, some people got it. Some people got it. Some people don't. Okay,
Well,
so did you have fun?
I had fun. And now I've
Any
got a little
announcements?
tickle in my throat.
Yeah, it's my cat.
Okay. I think it's
So,
infectious.
oh, you don't want to know what's going on over here. The chunks
Mm.
coming off my cat. She's a short hair. I didn't know I was going to have this problem. She has chunks of hair that literally this much every day
Oh,
that I'm
I
collecting.
know about it. My
Oh, that's right.
Siamese.
You've got a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a cat. I have a Siamese, and I swear she sheds enough hair to make 3 more cats. It's like, why are you not bald? She sheds so much hair. So let's just say I invest a lot into lint rollers and I'm constantly vacuuming. I stupidly have a black sofa here, probably the worst
Oh
color
God.
possible with a cat,
Well, you can
unless
see
you
it
have a
on
black
this.
cat.
You can
Yeah.
see all of my cat. I just give up. I can't.
Oh, I do too.
I can't.
I
You can
just
see the little white. I can't. I give up. I love her. I give up though.
I just wear Sasha wherever I go. And cat hair floats. Have you noticed that? I can put on
My
an
pro.
outfit
Well, she sleeps
and
here. That's why the
yeah.
doctor told me to either put something down or get rid of this, because this type of fabric, it soaks into it. the dander.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
do vacuum it, but
Yeah, I'm the type of person, I will purposely wait until I'm almost ready to go out the door if I'm gonna put on, like, a black suit or anything like that, and I don't see any cat hair, go outside, get in my car, sure enough, cat hair is on me. I don't know how it
oh wow,
happens.
it's horrible when you're on a date. You don't want to be the crazy cat lady. All
Mhm.
right. So did you enjoy the book?
Yes.
We're
And you
talking
got your
now
coffee.
about we have our book club. Welcome. We usually start a little after 6 o'clock at the end of the month. If you want to join our book club, it's starting now. Yay!
Yeah.
And
Yay!
we choose independent writers
Mhm.
that send your books in to us. This month we chose Lorcan's Bane by Kitty Roxana Connell. Did you like the book as much as I did? Because I have a lot to say about
Yes,
this
I
book.
did. I know you have a lot to say. I know you do, and I don't blame you. It's fascinating. I was
I've already
finishing it up
destroyed the
last
book
night.
too. I wrote in it, and there was a few times I was like, "Mm-hmm, uh-huh. See, that's just like men. You see, that's just like." Well, anyway, without further ado, everyone, give give a
Well, as a
warm
man, I don't
blessing
know how
to
to feel about that, but anyway.
welcome Kitty Connell.
Hello,
I'm just
Kitty.
teasing. Hi,
Hi,
I
Kitty.
know. It's lovely to have you
I'm so
here.
happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for writing an amazing book.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it's such a treat to read a book like this and then get the experience of speaking to the author. To me, this is like every reader's fantasy when you can talk to the author. Then right after I've finishing last night, now I'm talking to you. So I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, maybe it's an obvious question, but what inspired you to write this book? And I also want to know, are any of the characters based on real people in your life?
Yeah,
Well,
like Lorcan.
I'm like a lot of authors. I don't know what inspired the book. I was sitting at the
Uh-huh.
landfill with my husband, and he was unloading stuff from the back of our car after a remodeling project. And all of a sudden, page 48 just came to me. And I
Yeah.
frantically grabbed a golf pencil and a grocery store receipt and started writing. And that was the book.
Do you know what?
And I haven't
I
changed
know
a
where
word
you're
of it.
coming from. I write like that. I get ideas to
Yeah.
me and I just have to grab a slip of paper. When I used to work my job at Earth Bar, I can tell this now because I don't work there anymore. I used to sometimes take cash register receipt paper and just write down ideas before I'd forget it and stuff it down in my pocket. So, I mean, was that
I have
literally the
notebooks
case for
in
you?
every
Like,
room in my house.
yeah? Was that like literally what happened to you? Like a page, you actually visualized a random page from the book and knew you had to write it, and
Yep, page
then you just wrote
48.
around that? I love that.
Yep.
That tells me this was
And I
channeled.
haven't changed a word of it.
Yeah.
It kind of felt channeled. And it's not based on anybody real that I know of. I think it's a little bit audible because I'm weird.
My
What do
favorite
you think,
people.
Lorca? I'm just trying to understand the psychology of people. I mean, like Mirren, I think of as innocent, almost like she's just cracked out of an egg in some way, but she doesn't know it. Lorcan, why is he so screwed up? That's
Well, he's patriarchal. I mean, he is part of the patriarchy.
right.
He is emblematic of the patriarchy. And I don't think they have to have a reason. I think they just are so empty inside and devoid of any actual value or imagination that and they need love too. And so they run around trying to grasp it rather than earning it.
Yeah. That's quite an observation there. You know, I
That's
you know
yes,
what you
that's exactly it though. But anybody can do that. I mean, it's not just a different to take something that doesn't belong to you and to, be the isn't that also where you get people that have what's it called, imposter syndrome? They don't think they're
Definitely.
good enough.
Yeah.
Like but that's why I couldn't understand it. I mean, Is she everything that Lorcan wants to be? Is that the problem?
She's everything that Lorcan wants to dominate. He doesn't have any of that in himself, and he wants it. He craves it. He craves that kind of connection and that kind of affection and that kind of love.
Yeah.
But he is so empty inside.
Yeah.
That he can't generate it himself. He has to take it from another person.
Yeah.
Patriarchy.
Yeah. That was like that. You're reminding me of that book many years ago, the Celestine Prophecies, where it talked about how people have to empower themselves by taking power away from somebody else, or in this case, taking
they
love.
don't know how to generate themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You were gonna.
I don't know. I mean, all the archetypes. I'm just trying to understand every single archetype. Do you think that in another world, Lorcan and Mirren could have? I mean, like, I'm just really wrapped up in these characters. Oh, we just lost her. She'll come back again. She accidentally got knocked out. She'll come back again.
Okay.
But I think my question: what did you think of the book, Chuck? What did you think of this book?
Well, I mean, it just brought up some fascinating things. And it's certainly about the empowerment of women, the role of men. We've talked about this before as some of the other books we've had. Yeah. Well, wait, I hear she's coming. Is she coming back, Kitty?
Oh, I think she lost her. No, she's back again.
No, there she is.
Yeah. Sorry, Kitty. You got lost.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out how certain characters or archetypes are created. Can you hear us okay?
Oh, can you hear us okay?
It's kind of cutting out right now, but
yeah, there's a storm over the Midwest. Where are you right now?
I can hear you guys.
Yeah, but where are you? Where in the country are you right now?
I'm in Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister.
I'm in Colorado.
Yeah, she's going to have some problems tonight because of that thing. That there's something going on east of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can hear everything.
We can hear you great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My sister lives in Grand Junction.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm east of her.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
So I guess my question, like trying to understand the archetypes, is to try and understand how these characters developed, or how do you think these characters turned out the way they did? Like going into Ariel, like you said, he's a lover. Don't you feel in a way we're kind of cursed from birth? Do you think it has anything to do? Do you think it's part of his nature? Do you think it's how he grows up? Versus, like, that's why I just struggle with understanding Lorcan. Like, why is he such a jerk? It's like it's his karma to be a jerk. It's like he doesn't even have free will.
Kind of. Although he's an outcast. He doesn't like himself very much. He's really unattractive. He has really crappy energy. He kind of is put offish to everyone around him, but he wants it all. And he wants a beautiful woman. And he doesn't have the skills or the wherewithal to relate to anyone from the heart. He's all in his head or in his nether regions, because he cannot connect with his heart.
Mm.
Yeah. That seems to be a theme, with men. A lot of men are not in touch with their heart.
It's a patriarchal thing.
Not the belief that they have enough love within themselves and they've got to take it away, hence repression of women.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That seems to be a thing. Yeah. I was just wondering, your characters are so fascinating. And because you mentioned how you have channeled, as I was reading, I had this thought, have your characters ever gone off script, or where they took over your story and took it in a direction that you were not even expecting? Like you were just sitting back there writing, like the characters were dictating this and they were saying, this is where we want the story to go. I thought so.
Yep.
I got that.
My characters have lives of their own.
Yeah.
I mean, they throw me curves all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of writing process. I mean, we get things in our mind. We have an idea of how things are going to go, and then when your characters come to life and develop their own personalities, they're like, nah, I'm going over here, and you kind of have to follow them because
That's
where the
cool.
story goes.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the questions, the conversations that happen, like between Ariel and like on page 67, like what's this guy's? I summoned everything I know as female, elements, stones, herbs, goddesses, anything female. Why did you decide upon that? Ariel asked intently. Because Lorcan hates women.
Yep.
And all hatred is born of fear. You think Lorcan hates women? See.
Yes, he hates women, but he wants women. He hates them because he can't control them, because he doesn't understand them. And so he's developed this real animosity because he can't, he's so far out of his heart, he cannot understand vulnerability or sensitivity or compassion. It's all domination for him. And since he doesn't know how to love, he wants to dominate.
He's also quoting the Talmud, but we'll leave.
Yeah, probably.
Vessels of filth, right? You know, that women are vessels of filth that men prey upon, right?
It's because we inspire things that they don't know how to control. We evoke things from them that they feel powerless against. And so they try to dominate it. They try to overpower it because they don't understand it.
Should we?
And I'm not talking about you, Chuck. I'm talking about unevolved men, okay?
Chuck loves women.
I got it. I love women. Yes, I do.
He has no fear of women.
No, I have nothing but admiration and the deepest respect.
If women jumped into his bed and he would no fear.
But anyway, I find that the greatest life lesson.
If Angelina Jolie said, "I'm here," I don't think you'd be terrified.
She's my neighbor down the road, 5 minutes away. But anyway,
yes, would you kick her out the door?
No, I don't. I was just going to say that I find I consistently learn my greatest life lessons from women, and I surround myself with brilliant women. I have Whimsy, for one. I have two other friends who are also doctors, another friend who is going for her doctorate in literature. I surround myself with very intelligent, wise women.
Yeah, I've noticed that about you, Chuck. You definitely, and also strong women.
Very strong.
You know, I've never known you to not like all of you have a lot of female friends, but they're strong women also.
Very strong.
You're not, and you're not bothered by it. It's not like you're.
Why would I be bothered? You know. No, it's
why? But why did you turn out like that? That's why can't Lorcan be like that? Like what do you think? What do you think? But why do you think some men don't have a problem with female power and others do?
Well, I said it earlier, and maybe this is a little shallow, but I just think that if you are confident within yourself, then you're going to be confident with everyone else. So you're not going to feel a need to take away somebody's power. If anything, you're going to respect their power and realize that you can learn from that power. You can grow and evolve from that power and share. I mean, that's just me. I can't speak for others, but
I think you handle power well too. Like when I get upset and I'm like on a power thing, he will hold his ground and he'll say, "Okay, well, I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it like this." And then the tension will. I mean, you're very good at dispelling tension in people, also. And I think it's that kind of.
Well, I know your heart. I know your higher self. I know your truth, who you really are. And I also know that I get that way sometimes too. Right. So I can more than empathize. But you know something I wanted to ask you, Kitty, because you write so well for these men. Is it difficult to write for characters of the opposite sex and to have empathy and understanding for them because you do that so well? And I was wondering if you could talk a little about your process for writing for these male characters.
Well, I'm surrounded by really excellent men. I have a great husband. I have a magnificent son and a wonderful son-in-law, and I have a lot of male
Yeah.
friends who are awesome. So
Yeah.
I suppose I look at the really wonderful men in my life, and if I have to write a really crappy man, I just contrast them with the guys I really know, because I really am
Sure.
surrounded by a lot of really awesome guys.
Like what I was saying about being surrounded by awesome women. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if I may throw this out, I had a wonderful acting teacher, Dee Wallace, played the mother in E.T. the Extraterrestrial, and I once had to play a
Okay.
really despicable character. He was a death row murderer, and I was like, Dee, how do I find empathy for a character like this? And she said, Chuck, don't you get it? This is a man somewhere in his life he did not get love. He was denied love as a child. He's in
Yeah.
pain. He's hurting. So he lashed out in these horrific ways. And when she told me that, I thought that was one of the most valuable pieces of advice I'd ever been given about understanding people, understanding characters, how to play a character as an actor. So I think that's kind of what you're saying as a writer, writing for your characters. That's the key. That's what gives you that empathy for these men, if I may
I
say
think
that.
I think there's a lot of crossover between acting and writing. I mean, we're
Oh,
faking it,
definitely.
right? So, I
Definitely.
mean,
Well, I don't know if we're
all
faking it.
Well,
Well,
we're
I mean,
kind of assuming, we're kind of putting ourselves in someone else's place and
yeah,
empathetically trying to portray what they are feeling. I mean,
right. Now,
I'm a
I
very,
was always
I'm a
taught
very,
that.
go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, I was always taught it's not faking, it's finding the truth. It's tapping into the truth of
Well,
who these
yeah.
people are. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
And sometimes you have to,
Yes, that's
Florkin,
true.
I mean, start with him. He's so foul and so broken that it's really
Yeah,
hard to get a handle on how to relate to him. And so you have to
yes,
start, well, like with Mirren, when she was walking between the worlds and she was trying not to hate him, she had to find a way to feel compassion for him. So she went way back to when he was a child. A child with smallpox, a child with a mother who didn't care about him. She had to find a way to relate to this man to get the hate out of her heart, because when you carry that kind of
yeah,
negativity, you spread it around to everybody else. So she had to
yes,
go back to the place where he was innocent and vulnerable, where she could actually feel compassion for him, because she couldn't feel compassion for him as a man. I mean, he was
yeah,
horrible.
Kept trying to kill
He
her.
was, well, he
yeah,
killed women. I mean, he killed a girl in Swan Hollow. He
Yeah.
killed, he killed women. He raped women. And it's really hard to feel compassion for that. So she had to go way
exactly.
back to when he was a little kid.
Yeah,
And I think that's what we have to do sometimes. I'm having a hard time with Trump, but got it.
hmm
Yeah. Kitty, would you be able, before we close today, to read a portion of your book? Chuck, did you have a question before she reads?
Oh, no, I'd love to hear Kitty read a portion of her book.
Yes. Is
Love
there a
to hear it.
portion you'd like to read for us today?
Yeah. Let me have a little sip of liquid here.
Which page are we going to be on, Kitty? If we want to
We're
follow
going
along
to
with
be
you.
on. We're going to be on page 158.
Ooh, towards
158.
the end, towards the.
Mirren
Okay.
is at Bridewell.
Mhm.
I expected green and peaceful dreams that night. Again, I was tucked between Talo and Ariel, even though Ariel slipped outside on the oh, sorry about that. Outside the window of my little cell.
Outside the window.
And Talo slept in the hall on the floor beside my door. The sacredness of Brideswell alone should have granted me pleasant dreams, for the whole of the valley floated in an air of serenity. Souls of those who had worshipped there over the ages still lingered. Instead of whispers from the wise, my dream began with keening of 100 generations of women. They wept for their children. They wept for their mother. They wept for themselves. And their cries reached back to their ancestors, to me, to return forgotten pattern to the great loom, to help them reclaim their magic. See, they told me and showed me a husk of a world. Steeples and chimneys and towers to vain glory drained the life force from earth and spewed it into soiled skies. Over the whole of the world, forests fought for survival. Lushness turned to barrenness. Animals vanished, and the seas were putrid with man-made waste. Everywhere, the telltale taint of misspent virility poisoned the earth, the air, the water, and the very spark of life. The divas had long since gone underground, and the fairies with them. For the world devoid of nurturing is long not habitable for the lighter expressions of God. So the women wept of any potency of their own. They wept and bore their children into dim futures. They sent their sons to senseless wars and raised their daughters to be hollow until filled with some man's opinion. Worst of all, their only avenues to God were paved with the same misspent virility and the corpses of exasperating women like me.
But what do you really think, Kitty?
Oh, I try to, mute my...
Be subtle?
Yeah, I try to be subtle, yeah. I don't
You read it
do it very often, though. Thank you.
You read your words
Thank you very
beautifully.
much.
This is one of the reasons I love to hear an author read their own words, to hear the emphasis and the inflections. You could do your own audiobook. You should think about it.
I'm working on it, actually.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I have, there are 4 books in this series. There will be another one out, hopefully around midsummer. It's called Booin's Daughters. And another one will be out around Mabon, which is called Harrow Keep. And hopefully the 4th one will be out around the first of the year, and it's called Daft. And yes, Whimsy?
Well, no, that's what I was going to ask about. I was going to ask if we want to continue reading when the rest of the series is coming out. So that was going to be my question. So.
Yeah.
So we would have to have you back again. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd love to come back.
Yeah.
I also have a new book, Whimsy, that I think you would really like. It's not in this series. It's a modern fantasy, and it's about
I love those.
An older woman and a younger man.
Oh, bring it on.
I'll send you the manuscript if you want.
Oh, it sounds like fun.
Oh.
So we have a couple announcements. Talk to each other while I grab the next book of the month. Chat.
The next book of the month. Well,
Thank
Kitty, I just really appreciate your coming here. It's lovely work. You're a lovely writer. I'm sure everyone will agree that your reading was just beautiful. But are you going to do your own audiobooks? You said these are in the works, but are you going to record? I'm glad to hear that. You should read your own work. You're the perfect person.
My son, who is a technology genius, and he's helping me. He's going to help me do all of them. So.
Oh, that's the beauty of our modern technology now. It's so easy to do this sort of thing. It's a little off track, but Julie Andrews, she's been doing voiceover work in her later years, like doing animated cartoons like Despicable Me. And during the pandemic, when she couldn't go to the studio, her grandson built her a sound booth in one of her closets, just using pillows and blankets and things. And she said it was better than the one at the studio, and she didn't have to leave the house.
Oh, I
So
love that.
you could do something like that for yourself, maybe.
Well, my son's a musician, so he knows all about sound, and he's going to help me do this.
Oh,
So
then you're in good hands.
I'm really
Good luck. I wish you so well. Yeah.
Well, thank you
so much.
Thank you so much, Kitty Connell, for being here, and much appreciation to all of you for joining us. Before we close, we want to announce that we do have a winner for our monthly selection of people who are fans of the Oracle of Whimsy fan pages over at Facebook. Much appreciation to Debbie Brady for creating those. We do pick a winner of a free tarot reading every month, and this month the award goes to Sandy R. Frazier. So Sandy, send me an email, whimsyanderson@gmail.com, so that you can receive your free tarot reading. I also want to say before closing that we have selected a book for the month of June. It's already here. It is The Fallen. The Fallen. And you'll be getting a copy hopefully soon, Chuck. It's written by Audrey Steidel. Don't you just love the design in the front?
Yes,
I love that.
I do.
It's an angel wing and The Fallen.
That's so
you
beautiful.
know it's going to be good. Okay. Chilling and unforgettable paranormal events while inside a mansion on St. Paul's famous Summit Avenue. So she's inside of a mansion and there's stories and all kinds of yummy things happening. All right. So that is that. I guess we're done. Did we do all the announcements? Did we get we got that done? We had a great interview with Kitty. Kitty's going to come back maybe next year, same time.
I hope so.
When we go through the cycle again. Yeah.
And
all right.
I guess the only thing I have to announce is just, like and subscribe my channel, Chuck's Captivating Chronicles, where I do old Hollywood history. I Love Lucy stuff, talk about life in general. That's pretty much my plug.
Well, you're also a tarot card reader and a professional empath. And if people need to get an appointment with you, how would they do that?
Well, yes. Well, you can always shoot me a message at Chuck's Captivating Chronicles or my email, which is just my name backwards, dransfieldchuck@gmail.com, all one word. And I'd love to hear from you.
All right.
And,
sounds
I'm
good.
doing a reading tomorrow.
Great. All right. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. Love and light. God bless. We'll see you next time. Peace out, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.